Okay, so this is my day trading layout. So I have my main layout. My main chart here is the 1 minute. So the 1 minute, the 2 minute here, 5 minute, 15 hourly, daily, weekly, and then positions, trades that I've made on the day, and this is set up for buying and selling. I'm actually going to be switching a broker, but still using this as my chart layout. So today I come into the day, I like to have things on my watch list that are flagged, ready to go. I have a bunch of scans in here that I'll go through those maybe after hours, but during the day, if I don't have my list already set with a plan written out, then I'm behind the 8 ball. So, and then I have a scan here, EP scan, and over here I have another scan. There is another scan on this side too. But just basically, I'm just looking for the things that are up the most on the most volume. And then I'm also carrying over stuff like CADL that was a runner from another day. So, just looking at where could this find resistance, and I shorted this one today, right around this red line mainly as it popped. I'm also looking at the price and volume at that time. But mainly why I have it set up with all 7 time frames is I want to be able to see all time frames at once. And I might move this down sometimes, but generally I like to keep it up because here I can tell, I can look at the hourly, and that's right there is going to tell me who's in control. So you can see clearly buyers were in control here when I had this straight run up, making new highs. And then what I'm also looking at is this is the last value horizontal. So this red line and green line. So right now you can say the sellers are in control. It's the same thing as this, but it's only looking at the actual, the current bar. So right now, I really would look to short this, although, I wanted to short it up here closer to resistance. So that if I'm looking for confluence of, okay, this is a lower low on an hourly. We're making lower lows in the 15 minute. We're making lower lows in the 5 minute. So just looking for that continuity across multiple time frames, that kind of tells me okay, there's a sell program. People are clearly, obviously selling. It doesn't get any more clear than that. And then these other indicators that I have, they can help with timing. Like the percent B, this one, it's below this blue line. It's definitely in a downtrend. I've got the TSV, which is an indicator that's proprietary to TC2000 that I use as well. And the same thing with this Warden Stochastics, and I have that color coded. But generally, I'm kind of looking at everything. I'm not looking at any one indicator. This isn't, let me see if I can find a better example. Mostly I'm looking at signals. So everything's also color coded as well. So the price bars are color coded. So this purple bar here, purple is generally a sell signal. So you had a big run up. This has gone straight up. You can see that this has gone from 8. It's basically gone up 10 times in value. And, when it's coming up here at this point of the day, I was already up pretty nicely on the day. So I entered here and I did have a drawdown. And it was risky because it didn't really have a clear stop. But I'm looking at it okay, well, this thing is just going straight up. You had a sell signal here, pretty wide bar, and then it ends up faking people out and running higher. So I'm just wanted to get in, give it some room, and then as it's here, you can start to see, okay, right there, you can start to enter short. But clearly on the 5 minute, generally a 5 minute is where I like to look for the signal, and you had a big red volume bar closing at the dead lows of that bar. So you could have just waited and then shorted here and had your stop maybe at the high here. But then what I like to do is I like to attach an anchor VWAP, and I would just trail my stop along with the anchor VWAP down. But I sold into strength a little too quickly here, way too quickly. But I just wanted to scale out because I had more size than I wanted to. And that's what happens when you have a drawdown, then you get scared. If I timed it correctly, I probably wouldn't have been so quick to cover some of that. So I'm using all the layouts, and I'm also using levels and anchor VWAP. So here you have an anchor VWAP at this reddish pink line here, where it came up to this morning and failed, and that's why I took CXAI short. So right there, this is where I'm looking at. Okay, I'm taking it short. And then you have the huge selling here. Even though this volume bar is green, it closed positive, but it was, the sellers dominated that bar. But I have been looking for this thing to go up. It generally did. It did break out. I had a new high here. I think I took it long first, and then I flipped short because I was looking for it to run higher. This one just been hard to trade. I made money on it today, but look how all these spikes, and then you think it's going down and it spikes up. So this was definitely a tough one. But I think for me, it's just who's in control, looking at the hourly, looking at the 15-minute, looking at levels. Levels are probably the most important thing out there. You want to buy as close to support and sell as close to resistance as you can. And then you want to have a way to kind of trail your stop down. So the trade, you enter it, it should work immediately. Tight stops are key. If you're you could give something a wider stop, but then you got to do smaller size. But look at this thing. It just will not. Every time you think it's going down, and it's time of day right now. It's 1 o'clock. I want to be trading during these hours. It's kind of dead time. Most traders are done for the day. So that's it. That's the layout that I've got. Generally, I'm just going through here, and then I'm looking at scans on here, and then I also have other scans with trade ideas and on YouTube with other people that I follow, and they have scans. It's just clear and it's pretty easy. Like, it should be very obvious, like what is the hot momentum leader of the day, and then it should be very obvious, like, okay, where could that hot momentum leader fail? But also, like, on your watch list, like what do you have set up where things can trigger? So coming into the day, I knew CXAI had levels already set on that, ready to go. CADL, same thing. I was looking for, I wanted it to pop up here. I even wrote, like, I hope it gets closer to 758 so I can short it. And that's what I did. So following my plan. But, if you're waiting for something to trigger on a scan, a lot of times it's too late. It's too late. So you got to have your plan written out ahead of time.